Hello friends, welcome back to the channel Create Your Wealth. I'm reading the book Stocks to Riches: Insights on Investors' Behavior by Parag Parekh. The author has given very beautiful examples in this book and has written in a very simple English so that common people like you and me without much financial background can still understand how money works, how investment works. This book brings the knowledge on these great thinkers in the Indian context. Help me share with you my experiences with various types of investors, fund managers, corporates, media, and fellow students. As an optimist, I firmly believe that I am writing this book to start as one of the biggest bull market in Indian history. It is January 2005. I'm sure my experiences will give you new perspectives and help you to become a better investor. Simply learning to see the common philosophy and psychological and cognitive errors which an investor makes when making the decision, you can take a giant step forward. My chosen professor for stockbroker had served as an ideal vantage point from which I have been able to observe different behavior nuances and patterns. I have been in touch with various types of investors, fund managers, speculators, traders, etc. Each one of this his own agenda, perspective, goals, and thought process. No one is perpetually right or wrong. The correctness or otherwise of any decision depends upon the sentiments prevailing at a particular time. And surprisingly, or I should say unsurprisingly, the individual confidence levels will fluctuate according to the degree of accuracy in predictions. Chapter 1 explains what investing really is. It is a confusing subject, means different people, different process, and different things. I'm sure you will change your perspective of investing as you go through this chapter. Chapter 2 explains the differences between investments and speculation. It is important for you to know the difference as many people today acquire speculative behavior in the error that they are investing. Chapter 3 helps you understand the different ways of investing. The key to successful investing is keeping your emotions under control. It is easier said than done. Chapter 4 to 8 helps you understand the psychology of investing. Chapter 4 is an introduction to behavioral finance, how our emotions drive our decision making, and how those decisions may not be in the best financial interest, or to be precise, in our own financial interest. We understand why even the smart and intelligent people make big money mistakes, right? It is like the example which I want to give. I love reading Rama and Mahabharata more from the stories which and the learning which those two epic want to teach us. There are many psychological parts and there are many insights which I have drawn from there and I would like to share with you. The first part, which I also read when I was reading the book My Gita from Devdas Patnaik, he says Gita was not delivered only to Arjun. We all, whenever we are talking, who delivered Gita, who delivered the greatest speech, and who was the student at that moment, we say Krishna delivered the speech and Arjun was the student. But at that great moment when the speech was getting delivered, there were two other people who were consciously listening to it. I should say they were just hearing it, not listening. Sanjay, who was able to translate everything that was happening in the war, was also listening to the direct transmission which Krishna gave to him. He was speaking out whatever he was listening from Krishna by his divine vision, which was granted to him to watch the war that was happening miles away. And Dhritarashtra was listening to the translation which Sanjay was giving. The great divine speech was given by Krishna, and there were three students, but it was only one student who absorbed it. The other was only working like a radio translator. He was watching and he was translating it to Dhritarashtra, not trying to grasp and understand the thing. Dhritarashtra was also getting the translation. He was on the receiving end, but he was feeling this is not the important part which I want to learn. I want to learn about what's happening in the war, what's happening with my son. So when we are teaching you about behavior finance, or when I'm trying to take up various books and explain you multiple things, not only you, when I'm looking at myself, I always question myself, am I listening and understanding the concepts like the way Arjun did? Am I only listening and doing like Sanjay did, like reading the book and just transferring it to you through the YouTube channel? Or am I doing it like Dhritarashtra that, okay, this is not the topic, I want to make money, so let's go to the chapter where I can make the money. So I make conscious effort of being Arjun and not being Sanjay or Dhritarashtra. And I would request you also to consciously think what type of student you want to be, right? So coming back, let's take go to the chapter 5, which explains our reactions when we are in confused state or when we are confronted with fear, and our behavioral anomalies of loss aversion and sunken cost fallacy. These are two beautiful concepts which are part of the behavioral finance, which author will explain us in very simple way. These arises out of fear of making losses. A plan of action to overcome these anomalies conclude the chapter. Chapter 6 shows how our greed leads to our behavioral anomalies and maintaining the status quo by getting into the decision paralysis mode. Endowment effect. This is an effect of our possessions. Once you are aware as to why you behave in the particular way, there are plan of actions that can help you overcome that faults. Chapter 7 explains the human tendency to treat the same amount of money differently depending upon how it has been acquired. The effort taken to acquire the same and when it is acquired. This is in spite the fact that money is fungible. People have different types of mental accounts, and this is reflected in their investing and spending decisions. Understanding mental accounting and following the solutions at the end will help you invest and spending decisions. Chapter 8 explains the mental heuristics. These are the shortcuts the brain takes to process information. It does not process the full information. This leads to investment bias, decision making bias. We human beings sometimes follow the rule of thumb without understanding the implications. We do so because of the habit or a circumstances or just because everyone is doing it. There is no rationality in these actions. There are different types of bias in understanding these, right? Chapter 9 is about mutual funds. Open-ended mutual funds, the best form of investment for retail investors, is a myth. In a mental heuristic, it is an idea which passes in its time. New environment calls for radical thinking and bold concepts. Discard the old and then only we can embrace the future. Money management is a profession which unfortunately has been turned into a business with the advent of open-ended mutual funds. In such a scenario, the new emerging model to serve the interest of the investor would be individual portfolio manager. Chapter 10 talks to the real life of the stock market. Understand its participants and their behavior. Understand the true internal working of the market. You have heard stock market bubble. Understand how they are formed and how the different types of behavior anomalies we have discussed in earlier chapter play their part at different levels of the bubble formation. Booms are always followed by bursts. This occurs due to the totally opposite behavior of the same participants. It is a tug of war between the fear and the greed, and the greed and the fear. Lastly, we come to chapter 11. Why must one invest? Why invest? Equity investment is the best form of investing. Today, equity as an asset class are the most tax friendly and tax efficient asset class. Equities form a major portion of every Indian's portfolio. International investment companies will be attracted towards investment in India. The seed of equity cults are shown by Mr. Dhirubhai Ambani way back in 1977 with his vision of Reliance Empire. In 2005 marks the beginning of the Indian equity tidal wave, which will also attract international investment companies to set up their base in India. Parag Parekh. We will continue our journey in the next call. Thanks.